Champion community took its name from Champion Poultry Farms.
Well, it didn't have a name, and somebody was with my daddy, but I have no name to go with. And they were discussing they needed to have a name for Champion. And the dog come up, and my daddy said, "Scat or get away," or something, and said, "Champion, you get away." And that wasn't a name. It was just the fact that it just come out as Champion. And then they said, "Well, that's a good name for this farm." Said, "Let's name it Champion."
In the late 1940s, T.O. Minton owned and operated Champion Poultry Farms and was postmaster of the Champion Post Office.
Well, he started in 1921.
Yeah.
About the time I was born. And then he ordered 3 roosters from England, and he gave $25 a piece for them. And after that, he ordered a couple cases of eggs.
Minton's 840-acre farm and operation was described in a Journal Patriot article as one of the largest single comb-white leghorn breeder farms in America, producing 4.5 million annually. There was once an extension branch of the Wilkes County Public Library in the Champion Grocery.
You know, whenever they changed the precincts and they merged some precincts, in other words. That's whenever it merged Parsonsville, Bowling Springs, Mount Pleasant, and Joe's Cabin too, I believe it was.
Mount Pleasant School was founded in 1903. The first classes assembled in 1905 in a wooden building that consisted of 2 classrooms. In 1929, the wooden building was replaced with a brick building consisting of 8 classrooms, an office, an auditorium, and 2 restrooms. The high school, organized in 1926, was held in the old Mount Pleasant Masonic Hall. Consolidation in 1957 ended when Dix Hollow, Boiling Springs, Hubbard's Mill, Chapel, Summit, Big Ivy, Stony Hill, Hendricks, Congo, Reedy Branch, and Maple Springs schools were all finally rolled into the Mount Pleasant district. The Mount Pleasant High School consolidated with the Millers Creek High School in 1954 to form West Wilkes High School. In 2002, Mount Pleasant Elementary School became a pre-kindergarten through grade 5 school with the opening of West Wilkes Middle School. Mount Pleasant Lodge No. 537, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons, was organized in 1909 and chartered in 1910. Many members of this lodge came from the old New Hope Lodge. Mount Pleasant was fortunate to be among the local lodges that survived the Depression of the 1930s. From 16 operating at the time of the Depression, only 4 survived hard times in consolidation: Mount Pleasant, Liberty Lodge, North Wilkesboro Lodge, and Trap Hill Lodge. It was also a Mason, Mr. James Richardson, who started a chain of county homes throughout western North Carolina, beginning in Mount Pleasant. He had seen firsthand the deplorable conditions senior citizens were subjected to and decided something had to change.
And so vaguely I can remember seeing rats and mice come up out of that and go, and when we'd go in there, they'd run to it and leave. And long story short, all them 8 years or 7 years I was helping with them there on the ambulance, I thought to myself, surely there's a different way and a better method for our seniors to die or be taken care of. And every evening I'd just sort of tell my mother-in-law and my mother some how it was out there. It's just unbearable. And then Mary's mother was very aggressive in what she done. Smart woman. And she just all at once, out of the clear blue, said, "Well, let's build a rest home. Let's build one." At that point, We started building in 1959. Forest Disturbance built the place, and October the 1st, 1960, we opened our doors for 28 people. We helped a lot of people that would have never had the care they got if we hadn't have done that.
In the spring of 1865, residents of Wilkes County were plagued by outlaws who were said to rob and murder innocent victims. A 200-acre park is named for the two-story log house these bandits turned into a fortress.
We're standing at a historic site in Wilkes County, North Carolina, a site known as Fort Hamby. Fort Hamby relates to the Civil War here in western North Carolina.
In 2006, the Forest Edge Community Amphitheater at historic Fort Hamby opened for business. The 900-seat facility hosts not only the summer performance of Tom Dooley, a Wilkes County legend, but also live bluegrass and gospel music, and other theater and park interpretation programs. Boiling Springs derived its name from the fact that the waters of the springs bubbled, giving the appearance of boiling. The Boiling Springs Baptist Church was organized in 1932 in the old Boiling Springs Elementary School, which was purchased from the county and used until 1957 when a new church was built. But locals say that there was a Methodist church located across from the present church. This contention is supported by the presence of rocks in the fields and along the roadway that look as if they were once used as grave markers. Not to be confused with the Buck community, Buck Mountain is located between Wilkesboro and Boone in the beautiful mountains of North Carolina. Surrounded by the beauty of nature and abundant wildlife, residents enjoy a lifestyle that is defined by care and concern for their families, their neighbors, and their environment. The Maple Springs community was named for a small grove of maple trees that grew over a spring in the area. The Maple Springs Community Center was typical of a local community center in Wilkes County. Built on the site of the Maple Springs Elementary School, which burned in 1961, the community center served as the polling site for the Job's Cabin Precinct, a gathering spot for a senior citizens group, a meeting place for teens, and a place where men could gather for shooting matches. Construction of the Wade Harris Bridge started in the late 1920s. It was completed in 1930 and reportedly was the tallest bridge in the state when constructed, with a graceful span 110 feet above the Lewis Fork Creek Gorge. The bridge was constructed with over 86 tons of steel and concrete. It is 290 feet long, approximately 20 feet wide, with a center arch and a walkway for pedestrians. It was constructed by E.A. Woods & Company of Andrews, North Carolina, at a cost of $50,000 and named for Wade Harris, railroad executive and editor of the Charlotte Observer from 1892 to 1935. Though the bridge is no longer in use since the four-laning of U.S. Highway 421 from Wilkesboro to Boone, it stands near U.S. 421 in western Wilkes near the Watauga County line. Jefferson Turnpike followed the Reddys River and ran parallel to the giant lumber company flume. It was created with convict labor arranged and paid for by the state of North Carolina. Ashe and Wilkes counties agreed to provide guards, food, and shelter for the laborers. The resulting road, built with pick, shovel, and wheelbarrow, was a vast improvement over any roads previously built in the area. The Jefferson Turnpike was destroyed by the 1916 flood.